It's 19 hours GMT in Accra and 20 hours in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo, where elections have come to an end and counting underway. My name is Isamone. Good evening and welcome to News 360.
And I am Portia Gabo. Coming up with the headlines.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paint, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray,
Calipo, and Nido Fortigro, your love, their future.
And a nephew who stabbed dead pastor of Tema Community 4 Central Assemblies of God to death in police custody.
And also coming up, most streets in Accra still dangerous to drive on at night.
Work nearing completion on portions of George Walker Bush Highway to improve pedestrian safety.
On mission tonight, government urged to complete abandoned 120-bed Kumewu District Hospital in the Ashanti region.
And of course, in international news, voting to elect new president in Democratic Republic of Congo hit by series of delays.
We have details coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
And we begin in Tema, where the Regional Police Command has arrested Francis Munyala Nabegmado, the main suspect who is said to have stabbed the head pastor of the Central Assemblies of God Church, Tema Community 4, Reverend Dr. David Nabegmado. The suspect is helping the police with investigations.
According to the police, the pastor was stabbed to death Sunday morning at his office at the church premises where he was preparing to deliver a sermon. The deceased was accosted by an alleged assailant said to be his nephew while moving from the church office to the main auditorium for the day's service at 9 a.m. Reverend Nabegmado was pronounced dead at the Tema General Hospital. The police confirmed the suspect stabbed him in the neck, chest and stomach.
We have commenced investigation into the incident.
Francis is said to have lived with the deceased. The Greater Accra East Regional Secretary of the Assemblies of God Church, Reverend Alfred Kweku Akumbi, also confirmed the incident and called for security for pastors.
At our EC meeting, that is Executive Presbytery meeting, it's possible we'll look at if the need for security. People that he has supported them financially, help people, school them. If we want to recap the good things that this man of God has done, we will not be able to finish it. He's such a lovely, a caring pastor. So, of course, if this thing has happened, everybody will be down.
The Tema police also added that security has been beefed up at the church premises.
We have dispatched some police to the church premises in the place of abode of the Reverend to make sure we maintain security there for now.
The suspect, Francis Nabegmado, who works with a private security firm, confessed to the crime in his caution statement to the police. The deceased was 63 years and left behind a wife and 5 children.
Let's go to the Ashanti region, where fire gutted more than 11 shops at Edom PZ in Kumasi Sunday dawn. It took the intervention of personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service to contain the fire from spreading and reduce impacts of damage. A report by Benjamin Edu.
No casualty was recorded in the fire. Items destroyed in affected shops include canned drinks, tomato paste, rice and cooking oil. The fire started around 2 a.m. Sunday and raged on for a while before the intervention of fire personnel. Accessibility to the building and fire hydrant posed a challenge in fighting the blaze. Operations Director of the Ashanti Regional Fire Service, Francis Darko Kuno, says metal gates to the shops prevented access.
Most of the stores are bent, but with the items. But as to the cause of fire, we are yet to get to know what actually caused the incident. 11 stores are affected. The entire housekeeping is very poor. The fire load was so high because items are packed to the brim. The entire stores are filled. We shouldn't be. They should have left a little ventilation.
Some of the affected traders could not control their tears.
As of now, my hope depends upon our bankers, so that if they can also try as much as possible to help us, so that we can even acquire either a loan or a grant, so that we can even start afresh.
Kumasi Metropolitan Chief Executive Osei Sibe Enchi commended the fire and police personnel in controlling security in the area. He also spoke of plans to install hydrants in the central business district.
And theft and technical challenges have been blamed for the poor street lighting in Accra. Some municipal chief executives the news team spoke with, though acknowledged their responsibilities in keeping the city lit at night, complained of constant thievery of street light accessories. Evelyn Tingma reports.
On February 20, 2018, TV3 carried a story about electricity consumers expressing worry about paying 3% for street lights under the energy sector levy, yet Accra is not lit at night. The story highlighted most areas in Accra, including the Tema Motorway and the Medina Adenta Highway, that are plunged in darkness at night, affecting visibility of both drivers and pedestrians, even though street lights are lined up.
Without the lights, it's difficult to see. It's easier when there's a light from the top and lands on the road than headlights meeting. So sometimes people use highlights and then it blinds your vision.
We pay our taxes and I don't know what's being used for. Sometimes we have people crossing on the street, and if you don't put on your highlight, you knock them down. We have objects on the street and potholes that you can run into, and then it causes accidents.
Due to the licensing system, some of us who are not too careful in crossing find it very difficult.
Even at certain areas where solar panels have been installed, the street lights still do not function, leaving more questions than answers. The Electricity Company of Ghana said it was not responsible and laid the blame on the doorstep of the metropolitan assemblies.
In accordance with the provisions of the local government departments of these assemblies, Instrument 209 LI 1961, AMDAs are responsible for development, installation, ownership, and maintenance of street lights.
So we asked the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, who under the policy framework charge property rate for the maintenance of street lights, what the problem is.
The difficulty sometimes we face is that there are too many people that also steal the metal accessories of the traffic lights and the street lights in Accra. And that is becoming too rampant. Traffic lights will be fixed. Street lights will be fixed. You will see the bulb on, but it's not functioning because the cables might have been stolen or the metal has been stolen. So the issue about theft is also a setback in traffic management in Accra, and we will need to step up our policing to ensure that we also prevent theft.
There could be a situation where the street light that was provided there is not functioning. It may not be functioning because it hasn't been fixed well, the bulb is gone, or there's no electricity going into it. Some of them, they were found not to have clips, and apparently the clips that hold the cables, if they are not there, causes the thing to shake. So anytime there's wind, then it affects the photocells, and then it goes off. We found all those things up. We purchased the necessary things to fix those things. We did it in the 12 electoral areas that we have.
The Municipal Chief Executive of Adenta, Daniel Ninoy Edumwa, says the Assembly has been responsible.
We have various communities, for a good number of residents associations and landlords associations who interact with us. So they tell us what their needs are, and we try to provide to their needs based on what we have.
We are on the Tema Motorway, and from the start to the end of the expressway, the street lights are not functioning. And this has been like this for several years. Executive Director, Bureau of Public Safety, Nanaya Akwada, is worried over the development.
In a situation where we have our street lights failing and they are not, maintained, it increases crime, it increases pedestrian knockdowns, it increases road crashes as well. So there's every reason why we should be concerned, or city authorities should be concerned about street lighting.
He argues citizens deserve better, especially when they pay for street lighting.
Go check your electricity bill, go check your water bill. We are paying for all these already. So what we need is for the government, the state or the city authority to divert the funds where they have to go. And once we have that, if it's not adequate, they should be able to come back and say, look, it's not adequate. But when we are paying something pesos, someone is paying something pesos, millions of people are paying something pesos on monthly basis, it translates into huge sums of money that should be committed to the purpose for which they are collected. The only time you see street lights springing up and functioning in our part of the world is when we are going for elections. That is an insult to the many lives we lose on our streets at night. That is an insult to the populace.
Meanwhile, road accidents continue to increase, partly due to poor visibility at night. Accident cases recorded by the Legon police station from the Shashi area to Atomic Junction from January to October stood at 18, out of which one person was killed. Commercial vehicles involved in accidents were 13 as against 21 private vehicles and 4 motorbikes. Police say the accidents usually occur at night, particularly under the University of Ghana Bridge due to poor lighting. It took a protest by residents of Adenta and Medina to have their street lights fixed, even though the MCE for Adenta said it was work in progress. What about other areas that do not have their lights on at night? Will the people there also have to demonstrate or protest to have them fixed? Well, some have argued that protest is a language governments best understand. But should that be the case? Your guess could be as good as mine. Evelyn Tankma, TV3 News, Accra.
Over 40 acres of farmland at Kobeda in the Atrimanwabija North District of the Ashanti region has been destroyed. The livelihood of over 10 farmers have been affected. The farmers say the land was cleared by unknown private developers without any notice. Ibrahim Abubakar has more.
Farm produce, including cocoa, pawpaw, orange, plantain, cassava and cocoyam were destroyed on the 40-acre land last week Wednesday. Affected farmers only got to know their investments had been ruined when they went to work on the farms. Despite farming on the land for over 30 years, the farmers say they were not compensated prior to their farmlands being cleared. They also claimed they have not been compensated for the loss.
I was informed via phone about the destruction of my farmland. Upon my arrival, some men told me the land had been bought by government. I haven't received any communication whatsoever. I haven't been compensated.
I planted 400 seedlings of cocoa and lost it all. I haven't received any compensation from any traditional authority. Governments should come to my aid. Caretaker of the Kobeda stool lands, Nana Kwekunsia, said the lands has not been given out to any private developer. He accused the Apejahene, Nana Owusu Efriye IV, of being behind the sale of the farmland.
40 acres in your master.
Farmers have been greatly affected. I am pleading with Otumfuo to look into the matter because we don't know those involved.
But the Apejahene, Nana Owusu Efriye IV, in a phone interview refuted the allegation of non-payment of compensation. He claimed some of the farmers were duly compensated while others were expected to receive their compensation by next week. According to Nana Wusrifiye, the land has been released to the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital for the establishment of an eye and throat training center.
You're watching News 360 from TV3 here in Accra, and work is nearing completion on some portions of the George Walker Bush Highway to improve pedestrian safety. 10 months after the documentary Dangerous Highway aired, TV3's Portia Gabo has been monitoring efforts being made by authorities to improve safety on the highway. We'll bring you that story as soon as we are ready. You're watching News 360, and let's have a look at Portia Gabo's story now.
On February 15, 2018, TV3 aired a documentary dubbed Dangerous Highway on the state of the George Walker Bush Highway, also referred to as the N1 Highway. In response to the documentary, the Roads and Highways Minister, Kwesi Amoakwata, spoke of efforts being made by the ministry to make the highway safer.
So I congratulate you for bringing this up. We know the areas that we have to establish or build footbridges, and with time, little time, it will be done.
The Accra Metropolitan Assembly, realizing that about 60% of road crashes on major highways in the Accra metropolitan area were recorded on the N1 highway, strategized to improve road safety.
I actually commend you for the fact that you identify such issues and bring it to the attention of authority. But prior to the documentary, we at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly with the Bloomberg philanthropists had initiated a process of data gathering and exactly what to do over there. This project was conceived of last year, and we managed to mobilize funds, and the Bloomberg philanthropists had also supported with those funds to be able to ensure that we enhance pedestrian safety on that corridor.
On September 17, 2018, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, together with Bloomberg Initiative for Global Road Safety, began road safety enhancement works at the La Paz intersection of the N1 highway. With support from the Ghana Highway Authority and the Department of Urban Roads, the enhancement works included increasing pedestrian signal timing, lowering curbs at places where pedestrians cross, remarking pedestrian crossings and other pavement markings, narrowing of lane widths, widening of the median refuge, and the replacement of damaged signals and crash barriers.
Studies we undertook showed that within a 12-hour period from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., we are able to count about 204,000 pedestrian movements at this junction or within this catchment area. And this translates into about 17,000 pedestrian volumes within an hour, which is very significant. And so the median width are not wide enough to accommodate them when undergoing the stage-wise crossing process. And so we are widening it to be able to accommodate pedestrian volumes.
My expectation is that road crashes will reduce significantly on that particular corridor because we now enhance the pedestrian safety on that particular corridor, and we are expecting road crashes to reduce. And then as well, expect the pedestrians also to comply, because sometimes pedestrians are also part to be blamed. Some people can argue that the footbridge is a bit far away from the main traffic light, but it is better option than to dangerously cross the road for you to be hit by a vehicle.
So, has the renovation works on the highway led to an improvement in road safety?
With the zebra crossing, this thing in the night, it brights. And the cars they take caution because they know if you knock somebody here, it's a problem to you.
The cars, when you get to the junction there, they're able to park and they not get close to the zebra crossing, and the people can be able to do what? To cross. And the drivers are very careful that they will not even hit anyone on the zebra crossing.
Mostly we don't even know when and where exactly to even cross. But since the zebra crossing is there, at least we know we are supposed to use the zebra crossing to cross. But then it's just most of the drivers that distract us, because at times they even park on the zebra crossing just like someone has just done.
With work expected to be completed soon, more education needs to be done to ensure that pedestrians also adhere to road safety regulations by using the footbridges instead of crossing the highway indiscriminately.
Let's go to the Ashanti region, where the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital in Kumasi requires 70 million cedis for comprehensive retooling of the hospital. The facility also needs other interventions to expand existing clinical facilities. A report by Benjamin Edu.
Statistics available at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital indicate about 70% of beds in the facility are out of use. The hospital says it is challenged in replacing them. At a ceremony to receive 20 beds and other medical items from the Deputy Chief of Staff, Asensu Boache, hospital officials called for public support to deliver on their mandate. Chief Executive Officer of the hospital, Dr. Oheneba Owusu Danso, said the challenges facing the hospital are enormous. He spoke of plans to address equipment and infrastructure deficit at the hospital.
We are also accepting equipment donation just like this one as part of the drive to improve on the services that we carry on here. The Komfanoche is in such a critical state that we need assistance. And it is so because of our strategic location, very central, and we are providing all kinds of specialist services that most regions in the country do not offer.
Deputy Chief of Staff Asensu Boache pledged support for the hospital's endowment fund to raise money to address the challenges.
I'm hoping that once some of us have started, other world wishes will also come in and help.
The Komfanoche Teaching Hospital is the second largest hospital in Ghana and the only tertiary health institution in the Ashanti region.
NEWS360 is live on channel 279 on DSTV. Still to come. Government urged to complete abandoned 120-bed Kumewu District Hospital in the Ashanti region.
In international news, voting to elect new president of DR Congo hit by series of delays.
All right, we'll return shortly with Mission.
Hello again, it's now time for Mission, and this program is brought to you by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, UK Aid and the EU. Let's go to the Ashanti region, where pupils of Biposo Kindergarten in the Central District of the region study in very uncomfortable structures. This has impacted negatively on enrollment. Bright Nana Amfo reports the assembly is putting up a new KG block for the school.
The district's education infrastructure is quite good. The hard-to-reach areas, however, poses a challenge. A newly posted education director, who's only 4 months old in the district, has a lot of work on his hands.
The farm place is there, and we have cattle ranches all along. Some of the parents will prefer their children to look after the cattle, and so you don't get them to school. But the farmers, those who farm, who do crop farming, they are trying to get their children to school. At least you get about 90% of the children going to school, except that they are scattered. Right. You go to a place, you find a few people here, find a few people here and there, and so you go to the school. Some of the schools, the enrollment is not too high.
This is his challenge. Almost every community has a school, but the buildings are not too good. At Biposo, this is the structure for the kindergarten. Biposo is 5 minutes drive to the district capital in Suta. The community's kindergarten is in a bad state. There are only 3 rooms for the large number of pupils. Teachers are not comfortable. Pupils are depressed.
Due to the nature of our building right now, when it rains, we find it very difficult to be in the room. We have to send them all to the upper primary classes when it rains, and when the sun shines so much, the heat, we can't bear it.
Enrollment has reduced as a result of this, a promising community, and yet pupils not getting the best of education.
Major problem that has had on the school is that, as you can see, when you go to the KG1, we have about 60 students or pupils there. When they are coming, because of the problems that we are having with the structure, parents normally take their wards out of the school. So when you go to KG2, you can see that the number has drastically gone down as compared to that of the KG1. So normally we'll get the enrollment from KG1 when school reopens. But as we go on, then parents take their students or their wards off there from the school.
The District Assembly and the Education Directorate are bent on changing this. A new kindergarten block has started. Workers are busily ensuring the structure is completed on time. Teachers are happy they will, for the first time, teach in a decent environment. The days of sitting in a dilapidated structure and exposed to heat are over.
When you have a very comfortable environment, it prepares your mind emotionally, whatever. That alone is a sort of motivation to teachers and the pupils. But normally students don't come to school because of the conditions that they face. When any time after second break, you could see that the room is very difficult to, stay in the room because of the condition. So I think that when this is completed, it is going to go a long way to help the school in the sense that we'll get the enrollment, students will feel comfortable, it will motivate teachers to also give up their best.
The school is excited, assistance has reached them, and they will teach in a comfortable environment. The Assembly says it remains committed to improving education.
It's been very difficult. Like I said, we have 150 communities scattered all over. So we're trying to pick up. When I came in, our first challenge was administration. But you see, since we came out, administration block for government staff. So we took a decision to make sure that we finish our administration block where we can host our central administration. So the next one is health and security and a pocket of education. Normally they have what they request for.
The Education Directorate is optimistic education in Tetra Central will see a boost.
Because we want education to thrive in the district, we only encourage the Assembly, we encourage the communities, we encourage the churches to help to solve some of these problems.
According to the District Assembly and the Education Directorate, several schools in the district will see similar improvement. This is to ensure the district gets the needed support to improve education. Bright Nanafu, TV3, Biposo.
Away from education, it was started some years ago to enhance the work of healthcare workers, but the 120-bed Kumewu District Hospital in the Ashanti region has been abandoned. Bright Nana Amfo reports authorities want the facility completed to open up access to healthcare.
Kumewu, capital of the Secretary Kumewu District, its health facilities are congested. The facility is forced to operate as a hospital. Even in this state, the challenges are many.
The facility is strategically placed to be able to manage especially first-hand complications from maternal and childbirth, which we have all been preaching. As we speak now, we have only 8 beds for maternity ward, and that is where we keep post-surgical cases and then normal maternal cases that admit, medical cases. They are all 8 beds, and there are times that we even have to move maternal cases to general ward and vice versa because we don't have space.
A 120-bed district hospital now sits in the bushes of the district. It can best be described as a mini forest or a rearing ground for grass cutters and rats. For caretakers, it is a breeding ground for reptiles. Snakes are common here. The contractor has packed and left site long ago.
The district needs 1 district hospital, it needs 5 health centers, and then it needs about 15 church compound. then we would have done the full-blown infrastructural rollout. With the hospital, we don't have, so you will say infrastructurally, that is a gap. Then you come to the health centers, that one we have, and we have at least one physician assistant each in those 5 health centers. So in terms of health centers, we have met the infrastructure needs. Then when you come to the CHIPS compounds, we earmark 15, we have 8. So there is a gap of 7 to finish that rollout. And then if the hospital completes, then that also completes the hospital angle of it.
What is left are signs of deterioration on every uncompleted structure. Estimated at $175 million, the Kumewu District Hospital, when completed, would have all clinical and non-clinical units, traditional medicine department, 54-unit staff accommodation, an ambulance service, and a mortuary. Currently, the district relies on a private mortuary for services.
If we are asking for aid, for our hospital to be well equipped, and I think the place is so small, and I'm happy the government, the previous government started with this 120 bed capacity hospital. You can see it there, yes, and it's in deplorable state. It wasn't completed, so I'm pleading with the government at least complete it for us, because it's a 120 bed capacity hospital. Imagine a 120 bed capacity when it start to be operational. See how the socioeconomic activities of this area will go.
The facility would have served not only Sechere Kumewu District, but also Sechere Front Plains and Sechere Central District. A population of 250,000 would have benefited from this facility. Completing the facility will enable rural dwellers travel less to access health care.
The situation now is that the government has sent his team to come and assess the situation. Peter Mark and then Gordon, who are the consultants to the project, also came. And then the Director General for Ghana Health Service also came. And I believe that the news was quite positive. Only that we are waiting on them. We want to see contractors on site. And that is the expectation of not only the chief, who is a medical doctor, but also all of us. And we believe that the steps that government has taken so far will yield positive results.
The Ghana Health Service has started mobilizing staff in wait for the completion of the project. Several local people would have gotten jobs to do, and this will result in several other jobs being created along the chain. The people of Kumewu and its environs want just one thing: completion of the Kumewu District Hospital. This will enable them access quality health care. For now, some services are referred to either Dwabing or Ifidwase, and the bad nature of roads is a risk to their lives. The project is about 70 to 80% complete. Brighton Nanamfo, TV3.
And Mission is brought to you by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, UK Aid and the EU. Thanks so much for watching.
Now to some of the news on NEWS360 tonight. The Medical and Dental Council is woefully under-resourced to tackle the issue of quack doctors in the healthcare system. Registrar at the Medical and Dental Council Ghana, Dr. Eli Atikui, says the issue of quack doctors is alarming and needs immediate attention.
Registrar at the Medical and Dental Council Ghana, Dr. Eli Atukwi, expressed shock over the alarming state of the activities of quack doctors in the healthcare system.
It is alarming because if you take, for example, this year, we have gone and arrested 7 individuals, right, who had really never been to any medical school and were holding themselves up as doctors. We had also had arrested 5 doctors and physician assistants who may have gone to the medical school, had registered with the council provisionally, but had not converted onto the permanent register because they may not have completed their house job.
The Medical and Dental Council is a statutory body established by law, Health Professions Regulatory Bodies Act 2013 at 857 to secure, in the public interest, the highest standards in the training and practice of medicine and dentistry. However, Dr. Atukpi said the council is not adequately resourced to clamp down on quack medical practitioners.
The council is grossly under-resourced. The Human Resource Council is grossly under-resourced. We're talking about other material, logistics, funding. To be able to even travel, we need a good vehicle or good vehicles to be able to move around. Unfortunately, the council currently has, I always describe the vehicles as 1.5 vehicles. And when you're going to use a vehicle from here, for example, to the northern, the upper east, the western region and all that, you need a good vehicle.
He noted if these challenges are not immediately addressed, quack doctors would have a field day in the country, posing a threat to citizens.
We haven't done head count to the Volta region. We haven't done a head count to the eastern region. Neither have we done that to the western, the central, the northern, the upper east, and the upper west. So if we should have routine red counts, you would imagine the number of people that we would have arrested. One of the clinics where we went there, the fake person had just conducted an abortion. And we sent that lady to the hospital. The lady was examined and we realized that there were still products of conception. So they have to really go back to theater to really do the evacuation of the uterus.
Dr. Atukpi therefore urged the public to be on the lookout for quack doctors and report them to the council.
You would have been to a facility and would have noted that the type of treatment you had received did not meet your expectations, or the conduct of that particular supposed doctor really did not meet what you would have thought of, maybe seen in a public place or a well-organized institution. So you find out from the council, and then immediately we will make a follow-up and see whether or not that individual is a registered practitioner.
The Manche Agbona Park in Jamestown came alive on Friday night as dancehall star Shatta Wale climaxed a successful year with a concert. Dubbed Thanksgiving Concert, the show saw a massive turnout of charged SM fans who showed up to affirm their loyalty.
It was a concert to say thank you to fans for their unwavering loyalty, and the SM fanatics turned up in their numbers. The crowd thronged the Manche Agbona Park in Jamestown, expecting their icon to entertain them all night. It's 2:30 a.m. and Shatta Wale has still not mounted the stage. Unenthused about the long wait, this was their way of registering their displeasure. Not even the intervention of Shatta Wale's father, Shatta Kapo, could calm them down. Shatta Wale's entry energized the charged crowd. The sing-alongs were resounding. Intermittent loss of sound almost marred the show. But The SM loyalists waited patiently for technicians to reconnect the wires. Their loyalty was tested and they passed.
See the car over there. See the car over there. Shatta will control Ghana music. For life is our life. Shatta is going to take Ghana to the globe. We believe in Shatta. As you can see the fan, everybody loves Shatta Wale. I've been here since last night to this morning.
Shatta Wale went ahead to perform without good speakers. Even at the most dangerous locations, fans enjoyed the show. The fun continued. Shatta Wale entertained the enthusiastic crowd till 6:30 a.m. Saturday. Fans shared their excitement with TV3 Entertainment.
Akala SM Planet for life, papa. He's the best in the whole of Africa. The only artist who can make 2,000 songs in a year. Shatta Wale, no Mr. Junior, no style. Nation, better, you slow. Nation, better, you slow.
Well, it's 30th December 2018. I guess by now, Portia, we should know our level. Yes, the year is gradually grinding to an end, and tomorrow is the last day of the year. We thank you very much for being with us the whole year, from the entire news team, from Beatrice.
Yes,
and,
Matilda, AB, everyone.
AB and everyone from the newsroom. We thank you for your support.
Thanks so much for watching. My name is Portia Gabo, and he is...